Welcome aboard, sailors, and join us as we take a look at the basics of Heaving 2, a maneuver and skill often overlooked and under-practiced. Thanks for watching, thanks for the support, and thanks to all our subscribers.
Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you wish to receive notifications for our upcoming releases, hit the notification bell.
When we heave to, we basically stop sailing and hold our vessel around 50 degrees to the wind, and in most conditions, the growing seas. To achieve this, we have to set and adjust our foresail, which is usually a back jib or storm jib, as well as a reefed main or trysail, and finally, to keep our position, our steering system operated by the wheel or tiller. If this is all set correctly, we stop sailing and instead will drift 50 degrees to the wind in the direction that the wind is blowing. We do this so we can take a break and rest, as well as give ourselves an opportunity to eat and drink. We might need to complete some repairs on our boat, as well as perform any medical procedures to ourselves. We can also use this time to assess our situation, confirm our position, and formalize a plan. While we lie hove to, the wind on our foresail is what keeps the bow from heading into the wind and causes the boat to bear away. This in turn results in wind hitting the mainsail, which results in a counteraction, returning us to our holding position. Any forward motion affects steerage on our rudder system, which turns us into the wind, resulting in loss of speed and affecting drift, which is what we are hoping to achieve. It's important that this drift is in a lee direction without any forereaching. Forereaching means to make way or move forward, and we need to avoid this. If done correctly, this drift will create a vortex effect created by the hull as it drifts through the water. These vortexes break up the surface tension of the water and can create a protective area from breaking seas. The design of the vessel greatly affects how she will heave to, so every characteristic of her shape underwater will determine how she handles in these conditions. This also means that every boat is unique in its ability to heave to and will behave differently. Sail and rig configurations will also ensure that each boat is going to need its own unique setup to result in successful execution of this maneuver. We could do this using only a heavily reefed mainsail or trysail, maybe in partnership with a furled or storm jib. Possibly we might need to set up a staysail, and in certain instances we might need to do this on bare poles or no sails, which is known as lying a hull. This is important to note, as these are not things we need to find out when the conditions turn against us. This tactic needs to be tested, it needs to be well rehearsed and practiced often, it needs to be planned with all on board ready to assume any or all roles, it must be coordinated with nothing left to chance, with an emphasis on safety.
Still to come, we take a look at the actual maneuver and go through things step by step.
Every practice run you perform becomes a learning opportunity, and it's advisable to begin a checklist and add to it so you have a detailed preparation tool. This ensures you do not miss or forget anything and leaves you with more time below than up on deck in adverse conditions. We will need to reduce excess noise, which can add to an already stressful situation. The checklist also ensures we do not forget to batten down the hatches and seal any areas where water could enter. We can also make sure we minimize chafe on lines and sails and check that nothing can be lost overboard or cause further damage. Then we want to limit the potential for flying objects which can cause damage or injury to crew. This includes items on deck as well as objects below, such as flying glass, foodstuffs, or beer. This is especially important in the galley area, so prepare some meals or hot soup beforehand. When we heave to, we will drift with the wind. We have to then make sure that we will not encounter any hazards on our lee side. Drifting onto a lee shore is potentially dangerous, so we have to know the area is clear and we have to check our rate of drift. A lee shore not only increases the chances of grounding, But there is also the possibility of shallower waters, which increase wave activity and create stronger currents. When we plan our passage, even though it might take us a bit off our route, try to get a good safe distance from shore when winds are blowing toward land, so we can deal with unforeseen scenarios. Take into consideration that engines fail too, so we cannot always rely on them. In extreme circumstances, we might have to deploy a sea anchor to slow the rate of drift, or assist in keeping us in the correct heave-to position. This can be positioned to our bow to keep our angles correct, or we can use a harness setup so we can adjust the effect the anchor has on the vessel. This is also a tactic which must be rehearsed and practiced many times and can be a topic for a future video. The best course to steer when attempting this maneuver is on a closed hull course. Having your beam to the wind and waves is never recommended, and to turn from a run can be a daunting prospect. At this stage, our sails are set and ready to perform a closed hull tack. When ready, we slowly turn into the wind and straighten out, causing us to slow down. We keep the jib backed, which will turn the bow through the wind. Once the bow turns, we will have to remove the windage on our mainsail by sheeting out, which will stop the previously mentioned fore-reaching. Any forward movement can be controlled by adjusting our steering so that we head slowly into the wind. Turning too much can result in the boat turning through the wind again, so this must be done carefully. Once we have completed some fine-tuning and are satisfied with our settings, we can lash the steering so the rudder is locked. Now it's time to head below, close up the boat, and create a roster of who is going to be responsible for regular checks on deck.
Thanks for watching. Hope to see you all again soon.